The day my mother forgave me, she held my hands like I was about to disappear. Her palms were warm, mine were shaking. "I forgive you," she whispered, eyes glossy, voice heavy with something that sounded like relief. "I've held this inside me for too long." The room smelled like boiled tea leaves and old curtains. The same living room where I'd grown up, the same couch where I'd once slept after being locked out for coming home late. Everything was familiar, except her words. "I don't understand," I said quietly. She smiled, not the proud smile she used to give me when I brought home good grades. This was a tired smile, a broken one, the kind people wear after surviving something painful. "I know you were young, you didn't know what you were doing, but I forgive you now." Forgive me? For what? I searched her face, waiting for the accusation, the explanation, the memory I was supposed to recognize. Nothing came, just her eyes, full of a sadness I had never been able to fix, no matter how hard I tried growing up. Behind her, my younger brother Amir stood near the doorway. He wouldn't look at me. His arms were crossed, his jaw tight. When I met his eyes, he looked away. That was when my stomach dropped. This wasn't forgiveness. This was a verdict. "Mom," I said carefully, "what exactly are you forgiving me for?" Her fingers tightened around mine. "For that night, the night everything broke." My chest felt hollow. "Which night?" She pulled her hands away like I'd insulted her. "Don't do this," she snapped. "After all these years, don't pretend you don't remember." I stood up slowly. My legs felt weak, like the floor had shifted under me. "I'm not pretending. I swear to you, I don't know what you're talking about." Silence fell hard between us. Amir let out a short, humorless laugh. "Wow," he muttered, "you're still denying it." Denying what? Memories rushed through my mind. Childhood arguments, slammed doors, my father leaving without saying goodbye, my mother crying in the kitchen at 3 a.m. I remembered feeling blamed for things I didn't understand. I remembered being told to be the responsible one because I was older. But I couldn't remember any night where I did something unforgivable. "Someone needs to tell me," I said, my voice rising despite myself, "because I'm being punished for something I didn't do." My mother's face hardened. "Your father trusted you, and you broke that trust." My heart skipped. "Dad?" The name alone felt like opening an old wound. He'd left when I was 19, no explanation, just gone. Amir finally spoke, his voice low. "You know exactly why he left." I didn't, but the way they looked at me, like I was lying, like I was dangerous, made me feel 12 years old again, guilty without knowing the crime. My mother picked up her tea, hands trembling. "I forgave you today because I'm tired, but forgiveness doesn't change what you did." I walked out of that house feeling lighter and heavier at the same time. Lighter because I was finally forgiven. Heavier because I realized something terrifying. My family had been hating me for years over a story I had never heard. And whatever really happened that night, someone else had been very careful to make sure I took the blame. I uncover the exact night they believe destroyed our family, and why my brother's silence feels more like a confession than loyalty. "I didn't sleep that night." My mother's words replayed in my head over and over. That night. The night everything broke. If there was a moment that destroyed our family, how could I not remember it? By morning, my chest felt tight with a mix of fear and anger. I needed answers, not assumptions, not whispers, truth. I went back to the house before anyone else woke up. The hallway looked smaller than I remembered. The walls still held our family photos, except mine. Somewhere along the years, my face had quietly disappeared from the frames. Amir's graduation, Dad holding Amir on his shoulders, Mom smiling between them. I stood there, staring, realizing this erasure hadn't happened overnight. It had been slow, intentional. I found Amir in the kitchen, scrolling on his phone. He looked startled when he saw me. "You came back?" he asked. "I never left," I said. "Not really." He rolled his eyes. "What do you want?" "The truth." He scoffed. "Mom already forgave you. Isn't that enough?" "No," I said firmly, "because I don't even know what I'm being forgiven for." He hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. "That night," he said, finally, "Dad found out about the money." "What money?" I asked. He stood up, pacing. "The savings, the emergency fund, the one Dad kept hidden because he didn't trust banks." My heart thudded. "What about it?" "It was gone," Amir said. "Every last bit." I felt dizzy. "And you think I took it?" "Think?" He laughed bitterly. "You were the only one home." The room tilted. "That's not true," I said. "You were there too." He stopped pacing. "I went out later with friends." My mind raced. I remembered that night now, not clearly but fragments. Dad yelling my name. I remembered saying sorry because I thought I'd lost his trust in another way, because I'd been planning to leave home soon, because I'd been keeping secrets about my future. But money? "No," I said firmly. "I never admitted to that. You assumed." He clenched his fists. "Why would I assume something like that?" "Because someone needed a culprit." I walked past him into my parents' bedroom. Dad's old cabinet still stood there. I opened it. Empty drawers, dust. I said over my shoulder, "He left the same week, didn't he? Without saying goodbye." Amir didn't answer. "Mom blamed me," I continued. "You let her." Silence screamed louder than denial. I turned to him, heart pounding. "Amir, where were you really that night?" His face drained of color. "I was protecting the family," he said softly. That was when I realized the truth wasn't buried. It was guarded. And if my brother had lied once, how many years had he let me suffer to protect himself? I confront my mother with the truth she never questioned, and uncover why forgiveness came too late to save me from betrayal. I found my mother in the prayer room, sitting on the floor with her head covered, whispering words she had recited every morning for years. For a moment, I almost turned back. She looked peaceful there, smaller, older, worn down by life. The woman who had once braided my hair before school now moved like every step cost her something. But peace built on a lie is still poison. "Mom," I said softly. She looked up, surprised. "You're still here?" "I need to talk to you," I said, "about that night." Her expression tightened immediately. "There's nothing left to say." "There is," I replied, sitting across from her, "because you forgave me for something I didn't do." Her eyes flashed with hurt. "Why would I forgive you if you were innocent?" That question cut deeper than any accusation. because you believed what you were told, not what actually happened." She shook her head. "Your father heard you admit it." "No," I said firmly. "He heard me apologize. There's a difference." Her hands trembled in her lap. "You said you were sorry." "Yes," I replied, "because Dad was angry, because I thought I disappointed him, because that's what I always did, take responsibility even when I didn't understand the crime." Tears welled in her eyes. "Then explain the money." "I can't," I said honestly, "because I didn't take it." She looked away. "Amir said—" I stopped her gently. "Mom, what exactly did Amir say that night?" She hesitated. The room felt heavy. "He said you had problems, that you were stressed, that you borrowed the money and panicked." "Borrowed?" My stomach twisted. "And you didn't ask him how he knew?" I asked quietly. "He said he overheard you. Why would your brother lie?" I swallowed hard. Why would I steal from my own father and then stay silent for years? Her lips parted, but no words came. I leaned forward. "Mom, look at my life. I worked 3 jobs. I paid my own tuition. I never asked you for money. If I had taken that savings, do you think I would have struggled the way I did?" Her breathing grew uneven. "And if I really did it, why did Dad never confront me again? Why did he just leave?" She covered her mouth, shaking. "Because he didn't know the truth. He believed what made sense in his pain." She whispered, "Your brother cried that night." I nodded. So did I. She looked at me then, not as the guilty child she'd carried in her heart for years, but as someone she didn't fully know anymore. "What are you saying?" she asked, voice breaking. I took a deep breath. "I'm saying the forgiveness you gave me belongs to someone else." Her eyes widened. "Amir was there," I said carefully. "He knew where the money was kept. He knew Dad wouldn't question him. And he knew I would never defend myself properly." She shook her head violently. "No, no, not my son." "I'm your son too," I said, "and I lost my father, my home, and your trust because of that lie." She collapsed forward, sobbing. "I was so angry. I needed someone to blame." I reached out, then stopped. "I needed a mother," I said quietly, "but I became the sacrifice." She looked up, eyes red. "If you're telling the truth, then my forgiveness came too late." I stood slowly. "No," I said, "it came to the wrong person." Behind us, a floorboard creaked. I turned. Amir stood in the doorway, listening, and for the first time, he looked afraid. Amir didn't walk into the room. He lingered in the doorway, like a guest who had stayed too long and realized too late that leaving would look suspicious. My mother wiped her tears and turned toward him. "How long were you standing there?" "Long enough," he said quietly. The air felt tight, like a held breath. "Tell me he's lying," my mother said, her voice thin. "Tell me right now." Amir's eyes flicked to me, not with anger, not with defiance, with calculation. "I didn't steal it," he said, finally. I almost laughed. Almost. "That's not what she asked," I replied. My mother stood up slowly. "Amir, did you tell us your brother took the money?" He rubbed his palms together. "I told you what I thought happened." "What you thought," I echoed, "or what you needed us to believe." His jaw tightened. "You always do this. You twist things." "No," I said. "I stayed quiet. You twisted everything." My mother's voice trembled. "Where did the money go?" Silence. Then Amir exhaled sharply. "I was scared," he said. "That's all." "Scared of what?" she asked. "Of Dad," he replied. "Of failing. Of being nothing." The words sounded rehearsed. "I found the money," he continued. "I knew where Dad hid it because he showed me once. He said I was the responsible one." My chest burned. "And you took it?" my mother whispered. "I borrowed it," Amir corrected, "just for a while." "For what?" I demanded. He looked at the floor. "A business idea. A friend promised returns." My mother swayed. I stepped forward instinctively, but she held up a hand. "And when it was gone?" she asked. "I panicked," he said. "Dad came home early. He started shouting. I thought he'd disown me." "So you let him blame me," I said. He looked up. "You were strong. You always were. I thought you'd survive it." That sentence shattered something inside me. You watched Dad walk out. You watched Mom cry herself to sleep, and you let me carry that weight. "I didn't think he'd leave," Amir said. "I thought it would blow over." My mother let out a sound I had never heard before, something between a sob and a scream. "You destroyed this family," she said. Amir flinched. "I was trying to protect it." "No," I said. "You were protecting yourself." He looked at me then, truly looked at me. "And what did it cost you?" Everything. I remembered birthdays spent alone, holidays I wasn't invited to, the way relatives spoke to me in half sentences, like I was fragile or dangerous. "I paid for your fear with my life." My mother sank back down, her face buried in her hands. "I forgave the wrong child," she whispered. Amir dropped to his knees. "I'll fix it," he said desperately. "I swear." "You already fixed it," I replied. "You built a future on my silence." The room was quiet, except for my mother's crying. "I don't want your forgiveness," I told Amir. "I want the truth to live where the lie lived." He looked up, eyes wild. "What does that mean?" "It means Dad deserves to know." My mother gasped. "He won't answer our calls." "Then we go to him," I said. Amir shook his head. "You can't." I met his gaze. "You already lost me. Are you ready to lose him too?" For the first time, Amir didn't answer. We come face to face with the father who walked away, and the truth threatens to break what little remains of our family. We found my father in a city that didn't remember us. A small apartment above a closed-down tailor shop. No nameplate, no family photos in the windows. Just a man who had erased his past as thoroughly as we had erased each other. When he opened the door, he looked older than I remembered, but not weaker, just emptied. He stared at us in silence. Then his eyes landed on me. "You shouldn't be here," he said flatly. "I know," I replied, "but you shouldn't have left." My mother stepped forward, tears already spilling. "Please, we just want to talk." He laughed without humor. "After all these years?" Amir stood behind us, pale and shaking. My father let us in anyway. The apartment smelled like dust and instant coffee, A single chair, a single bed, a life reduced to the basics. "What do you want?" he asked, sitting down. "The truth," I said. His jaw tightened. "I already know it." "No, you know what you were told." My mother spoke through tears. "We made a mistake." He looked at her sharply. "You forgave him." The word him burned. "I forgave the wrong son," she whispered. Silence crashed into the room. My father's eyes moved slowly to Amir. "What does that mean?" he asked. Amir's knees buckled. He fell to the floor. "I took the money," he said. "I lied. I let you blame him." The confession hung in the air, heavy and irreversible. My father stood up so fast the chair tipped over. "You let me destroy my own child," he said, his voice trembling with rage. Amir sobbed. "I was scared." My father turned to me. His eyes were red. "You said you were sorry." "I was sorry you were hurting. I was sorry I didn't know how to stop the shouting. I was 19. He staggered back, pressing a hand to the wall. "I left because I thought I raised a thief," he whispered. "I couldn't live with that." "And I lived with it, every day." My mother collapsed into a chair. "I failed you," she cried. "Both of you." My father looked at me, truly looked at me, like he was seeing me for the first time in decades. "Why didn't you fight back?" he asked. I swallowed. "Because no one ever listened." He nodded slowly. "That's on me." For a moment, I thought he might hug me. Instead, he stepped back. "I can't fix this. I don't know how." "I'm not asking you to. I just wanted you to know the truth." Amir crawled forward. "Please, don't hate me." My father didn't look at him. "I don't hate you, but I don't recognize you." That was worse. We left shortly after. No closure, no happy reunion, but something had shifted. Outside, my mother held my arm. "Can you forgive me?" she asked. I looked at her, at the woman who forgave me for a lie and punished me with love withheld. "I'm trying," I said honestly. Behind us, Amir walked alone, and for the first time in my life, the burden wasn't on my shoulders anymore. The consequences of the truth ripple through our family, and forgiveness becomes far more complicated than blame. I thought the truth would fix things, that once the lie was exposed, everything would fall back into place, like a broken bone finally set correctly. I was wrong. The truth didn't heal our family, it rearranged the damage. The days after meeting my father felt strange and heavy. My phone stayed silent. No apology messages, no emotional speeches, just distance, thick and uncomfortable. My mother started calling me every morning. She asked simple things at first: if I'd eaten, if I was sleeping, if I needed money, things she never asked before. Each question felt like an apology she didn't know how to say. One evening, she came to my apartment unannounced. She stood in the doorway like she didn't deserve to step inside. "I keep replaying everything," she said. "All the moments I chose not to hear you." I let her in. She sat on the edge of the couch, hands folded tightly. "I punished you with silence," she whispered. "I thought that was discipline." "It was exile," I replied quietly. She nodded, tears spilling freely. I know. For the first time, she didn't defend herself. That hurt more than the arguments ever did. A few days later, Amir called. I almost didn't answer. I lost my job, he said without greeting. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry. No, you're not, he said, and you shouldn't be. He told me investors pulled out, friends stopped calling, whispers followed him everywhere. The truth didn't just reach our father, it spread. I spent years being the good son, he said bitterly. Now I don't know who I am. I leaned back against the wall. Neither did I, but I survived it. Silence hung between us. Do you hate me? He asked. I thought carefully. No, I said, but I don't trust you. That was the real consequence. Hatred fades. Distrust stays. My father didn't call. Weeks passed, then months. One day, a small envelope arrived in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single piece of paper. I should have listened. Dad. That was all. No apology, no request, just acknowledgement. And strangely, it was enough. My mother started telling relatives the truth. Some believed her, some didn't. But for the first time, she defended my name, even when it made her look foolish. I raised him wrong, she told them, but not the one you think. That sentence rewrote my childhood. One night, she asked me the question I had waited years to hear. Can you forgive me? She asked again. I looked at her, really looked at her regret, her exhaustion, her humanity. I forgive you, I said, but forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. She nodded. I know. That was the difference between her forgiveness and mine. She had forgiven me without truth. I forgave her with it. As for Amir, we exist in the same family but in different worlds now. We speak when necessary, we smile when expected, but the closeness is gone. And maybe that's the price of honesty, because the truth didn't give us a perfect family. It gave us something else. Choice. I no longer carry blame that isn't mine. I no longer beg to be believed. I no longer accept forgiveness for crimes I didn't commit. And that, more than peace, feels like freedom. The final reckoning arrives, where forgiveness is tested, roles are reversed, and I decide what family truly means to me now. The strangest thing about being cleared of a lie is realizing how much of your life was shaped by it. I didn't wake up suddenly happy. I woke up lighter. No more rehearsing explanations in my head. No more flinching when someone mentioned family. No more quiet shame that never belonged to me in the first place. The final reckoning didn't arrive with shouting or tears. It arrived quietly. My father called one evening, months after the note. I'm coming to the city, he said, if you want to meet. Not we, just you. We met at a small cafe, neutral ground, no memories attached. He looked at me for a long time before speaking. I built a life around a lie, he said, and I punished the wrong child. I waited. I had learned not to rush forgiveness. I don't expect anything from you, he continued, but I need to say this out loud. I failed you as a father. The words landed softly, but deeply. I needed to hear that, I said. Not for revenge, for closure. He nodded. Your mother forgave you years ago, he said bitterly. I was the one who couldn't. And now? I asked. He sighed. Now I forgive myself enough to face you. That was his journey, not mine. When I got home, my mother was waiting. She had started cooking my favorite meals again, like food could rewrite the past. I spoke to your father, she said nervously. I know, I replied. She hesitated. And Amir, he wants to apologize, properly. I thought of my brother, the boy who hid behind me, the man who hid behind my silence. Tell him this, I said. Apologies don't fix consequences. Accountability does. She nodded, understanding. Later that night, Amir texted me. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know I live with what I did every day. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. Good, I typed. So did I. And then I put the phone down. That was the moment I realized something important. Forgiveness is not an obligation. It is a gift, and gifts should be given freely, not demanded through guilt. My mother had forgiven me because it was easier than questioning her reality. My father had blamed me because it was easier than facing uncertainty. My brother had sacrificed me because it was easier than owning his failure. I was easy to blame. I was quiet, responsible, strong. But strength doesn't mean disposable. Today, my family looks different. My parents are learning how to know me without the shadow of accusation. My brother exists at a distance shaped by truth. And I exist, finally, as myself. The day my mother forgave me for something I never did was not the end of my pain. It was the beginning of my clarity. Because forgiveness without truth is just another betrayal. And the real healing didn't start when they forgave me. It started when I stopped asking them to. Sometimes the greatest act of forgiveness isn't accepting an apology. It's reclaiming the life that was taken from you by a lie.